Got to get it, Papa. I just rode in and I'm fixing to get down and show y'all where I'm at. It took a little while to get here, and but it should be interesting and in a scenic kind of way. Let's see. Told you it took a little while because I had to stop for the horse a few times. Yeah, I had only 1 horsepower to get over there, and I let him go. And yeah, he's out there. He's just walking around. He wants to get some grass or something to eat. I think he's gonna go chew on that tree or that bush over there. I'm at an interesting place, which you look around, you might not get the idea that I'm in the middle of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Doesn't look like it, but I'm actually at the LSU Rural Life Museum. It's been a while since I've been here. It's probably been 30 years maybe. Yeah, long time ago. And so some things have been added, like this building right here is new, and it's air conditioned and everything. Yeah, right as soon as you walk in, there's something cool to see besides a horse. Look at that. They would do popcorn and I believe peanuts. Yeah, there's a peanut thing. That's pretty cool. Don't see many of those running around. Just for the record, it was like that when I got here. You know, some of the things that the museum explains is the plantation system back in the day. Look, I'll get this, and you can pause that so you can read all that. But it does explain it, and one of the parts that we see outside is actually a recreation using some old existing buildings that they moved here of how a typical plantation was arranged. This one was kind of a small scale operation, but it'll give you an idea of how the buildings were set up. And so here, these are some of the big deal plantations. Some of them weren't quite so grand. He's an overseer, and he's sort of ghostly. But these are some typical furnishings and things like that that they would have had. Day-to-day use on the plantation. And see, this is something that not too many people do anymore. You can tell from my giant finger shadow. But they would make things out of someone's hair, a relative's hair, someone who passed away, in a way to remember them, which today seems kind of creepy, but back then that was not really that unusual. So you could keep it in a box, you could put it in your sock, you could make a little jewelry item out of it. And this is like a scarab ring sort of deal. The Rural Life Museum really tries to explain a lot of different aspects of the plantation era, including a lot of things that most people aren't even aware of. And yes, there weren't just, a lot of people think plantation, you think cotton. But in Louisiana, there were sugar plantations. There were also ranches and things like that with cattle. So plantations covered a lot as far as agriculture and the development of the state back in the day. And agriculture is still a big part of Louisiana and our country. But it's handled a whole lot differently and better these days. This is what they could do at the time. Oh boy. And here's the doctor supplies. Yep. Oh, look, there's what's left of someone's beautiful operation. It's a piece of their bones. Civil War artillery ammunition. Ah, woodworking stuff. Oh, look at these. These, I think, were probably patterns for different gears and pulleys and stuff that the people were making. And this is actually the business end. Well, this is the beginning end, the power end of a lathe. That, if you know what a lathe is, woodworking people, here's what would happen. This would, run around and spin that wheel, and that wheel would pull this little belt through, and the belt would come over here and turn this round and round, and then you could carve wood like spindles and things like that on here. That is a lathe. So see, you're starting to learn something, aren't you? And here's the parade of carriages. Fancy ones that were enclosed and everything. There's a few going all the way back there. Let's take a look inside, shall we? Ooh. That's where you sit, and see you have your little curtain you can pull down so you don't have to look at people. It's nice and comfy. They had the little porthole window back there so you can look and see who's chasing you. This other wagon here doesn't really matter if you're warm or not. It's probably temperature doesn't really matter too much if you're riding in this. Oh man, there's a couple of these things. There's this. There's this. Yep. Let's take a ride to the cemetery. And look, he's got a shovel. He's all ready. As soon as they get there, he's gonna jump down and start digging. But look at that. That's one of those cast iron coffins in there. There, you see it's got the little window on top, so you can make sure you got the right person in there. And all the little fancy things, details, the little urns on top. And the little doors on the back. So when you get there, before you start digging, you can open that up and yank them out. Yep, that's how he rides. And this is what it looks like to be inside there. Yeah. I'm going to go take a look at this one. So I'm not sure if they're going to be doing a restoration on it or not. But the back of this is kind of the same. It's got two big doors. These are big doors though. They open up because there's the hinge. But it's all carved. All this carved wood. With the drapery on it. The detail that went into these was amazing. Look at that. I mean, if it wasn't a hearse, that would really be pretty, wouldn't it? Or it is pretty, but it's just creepy too. It's creepy pretty. Oh, goody. They have a little window so you can see what's going on back there. If you hear too much bumping around, you might have picked up somebody that's not quite ready to go. Can't see anything in there. But I mean, whoever's riding back there doesn't really care. That's pretty cool. I'm going to jump back down the line here. Because we got another little buggy. This one's got a lamp. So when you're going through traffic, now this one, I think I'm going to say this right, but it's a two-wheeled buggy, and you pull it with a horse. But when it's got, it's not a chariot, a surrey, but I don't think that's right. I'm going to have to go through my buggy and wagon definitions to figure out what you call the two-wheel version. But look at that. Some more undertakers are on the move. This one, they got some serious work to do because they got two shovels. Oh, man. Oh, they put him in the wrong place. He's supposed to be inside. Now, I don't know if that was a common practice for them to drag the second guy around underneath, but I guess you could. It's cast iron. That's not going to, depending on how far you go, it wouldn't mess it up too much. But it's got the little window on it. Hey there, buddy. And then, but they can't put it in here, I just realized, because there's already somebody in here. And they got a big old window. Man, you'll be able to see them good. Say your goodbyes. But this hearse is got a lot more glass on it, and is a little plainer than the other two, obviously. But it pretty much operates the same way. Oh boy. Okay. There's the back doors where you load them up, move them out. But you know, just in case you aren't sure, it does tell you that they're at rest. That's something, I think one of these I believe was here last time I was here, and now they have kind of 2.5 with the one with no wheels. But there's all kinds of wheeled things. Buggies, look at this. It's like a Cinderella coach. And look, for wheels for short trips, you can just get a wheelchair. A wheelchair will work. Oh, this has got an extra special feature. So you can just drop in on people. Okay, now I'm going to try to do this so I can share a little information about these things. And one question I had is like, why do they have so many of these ancient coffins or caskets here? Were they never used? Or how do you get your hands on an old coffin? That's just kind of interesting to me. But here's some information. You can freeze frame that. And this is a window. We'll take a little look at another one of these carriages, wagons. This one's interesting because look how the sides are made. It's like woven. That's pretty unique. And this is a cool little model. And I think there was actually a movie about this. This was a locomotive that was being used by the Confederate Army. And some guys from the Union Army stole it. Which sounds like it would be fun, but it's like, what can you do with a locomotive except ride up and down the railroad? So it's kind of obvious where you're going if you steal something like this. So eventually the Confederates caught up with them and got it back. But that's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's hard to get away unless you go fast and go real far and don't have any problems. It's hard to steal a locomotive. But this model is actually fully operational, just like the Death Star. So you can actually boil up the water in there and get a head of steam going and psh, take off. This building is the old part, if I remember right. It seems like the part I remember. The old part of the museum that was enclosed and had all the wagons and hearses and everything in it, and just tons of stuff. And people from all over the state donate things to the museum that are brought into here, whether it's pieces of furniture or a buggy or an organ or paintings. Baskets. The majority of these things are donated to the museum, which is of course part of LSU. It's a really neat place to come see if you get a chance to. But I'm tired of being inside. I want to go outside and walk around. Let's go see what we can see right out this door.
Not so fast, partner. We're gonna have to continue this looked at the Rural Life Museum in the next episode.